Can you tell what countries are the most important for you in terms of this brand sales? I mean, except from US, of course.
Yeah, so I mean, we have users in 190 countries. Obviously, we can't, that's a big challenge for a small company to go after that. So we're active in probably around about 45 of those markets. Obviously, Latin America has quite a lot of markets. So, our big European markets, the UK, France, Germany, Italy, Spain are sort of the core of our business. But countries like Russia, Latin America, Canada are also very important as well. I think the interesting thing about Russia is, when I joined 3 years ago, Russia was probably the top, wasn't in the top 20 markets in terms of audience. Mm-hmm. But in this past 18 months, it's gone into the top 5.
In terms of audience?
Yeah, in terms of users. So
not the revenue, I suppose. Yeah.
Not yeah. That'll obviously, users comes first, and then the rest comes. We've been on the ground now for a year in Russia. And the business is doing incredibly well, and so we're really happy how things are.
And what about some emerging markets like, I don't know, Africa?
Yeah, so we actually have pretty good presence in South Africa. I think one of the challenges of Africa is obviously smartphone penetration. Obviously, South Africa is certainly leading that, along with Nigeria. So we're very active in South Africa, less active in the rest of Africa, but obviously Middle East, North Africa, we're quite active there.
Is it hard to sell this such integrations to the brands? As far as I understand, it's a long period of integration, so it's kind of a special project.
Yeah, so it's a good question. So we have varying products. So we have, you're right, some special product that takes a bit longer in the sales cycle, clearly. We have some immediate products as well. So we have the very sophisticated and what I call sort of off-the-shelf solutions. So, we have both, which allows us, as you say, to start quickly, but also then to work on the more specialized stuff. As our presence in the market increases. I think one of the things that is certainly not difficult is two things, right? Getting the advertisers to understand what Shazam is, and then how they can use that technology to really drive a connection between the consumer and a product. And really what we've been focusing on, you think about what Shazam is, it's connecting the music you hear to your mobile device. What we're now doing is really giving the brand the opportunity to use that device to connect to the world around them, whether it's their TV ad, their print ad, their packaging. The Shazam, through audio and visual recognition, can deliver that connection.
Do you plan to open some more sales offices?
Absolutely. So the German office launched this month.
Oh, really?
And the team joins over April, May, June. So Germany will be fully firing by middle of this year. We have a couple of other countries that will probably come later. But what we always want to do is, again, we're profitability. We're a small company, so we have to grow responsibly. But certainly that's the vision.
You've announced recently that you have partnered with Dan Ads, the white label self-service advertising solution for publishers. Does it mean that we soon can expect some self-service interface for advertising in Shazam?
So at the moment, no. So the partnership was really focusing on our label relationship. So our labels love to promote upcoming singles, albums, and so we give, whether it's Sony, Universal, or Warner, the majors, or even some of the minors, access to that solution, so they can actually traffic their own ads with their really specific targeting they want to focus on. So it's more of a label relationship at the moment.
And what about traditional advertisers like app developers?
Sure. So we will obviously work with agency relationships directly through your traditional orders. We obviously work with a lot of the trading desks, and we also work with a lot of the AdX, and we used to work with AppNexus, but AdX. So people can buy Shazam inventory through most of the ways they want to buy it, either programmatically or direct through our sales team.
Do you plan to launch your own self-service interface for
brands? No, at this stage the focus has been on the labels. Brands already have a very good access to buying ads, either through trading desk, through AdX, or through ourselves. So the self-service, as you talk about, is kind of already available through programmatic buying, though we have some very specific Shazam formats that you can't buy that way. And so right now you have to work with us directly to access some of those.
Tell me, why there's still no competitor even close to Shazam? I mean, Is it the unique technology, or is it just Shazam was the first one in this game?
I think it's two key things. I think it's absolutely the technology. Our recognition is faster, more reliable than anyone else, and so that's a big part of it.
Nobody can create something even close?
Correct. So we are the leader in music recognition, bar none. That plus branding. Fortunately, develop a verb. Shazam is very much seen as a verb. So to Shazam something, people know what that means. And so that unique situation, coupled with the technology, coupled with the fact that when you Shazam it, you get a result. It's and our users see it as a magical thing. All those sort of ingredients combined to create a very unique app, which is why you see us sort of being, the leader in this space.
Why cannot I Shazam if I just sing the tune of the song?
Yeah. So it's a good question. So the our whole if you think about what Shazam is, it's around certainty. Right, we put a lot of effort into our technology. We put a lot of it into building out a database so that when users Shazam, we know with absolute certainty that's the song. If you sing something, you're not able to make that accurate prediction.
Sure.
And that's why we've been focusing on accuracy of result rather than saying, well, it could be this. People come back to Shazam because it gives you the information, which is why when I talked about it in my presentation, there's a TV program launching in the US in a few months' time called Beat Shazam, which is all around seeing whether consumers can deliver the results quicker than Shazam can. So we're really excited about that, and I think that really plays to the strong brand that we have, but also that the recognition is incredibly accurate.
Do you plan to launch this program in other countries, Beat Shazam?
Yeah, so it's launching in the US on Fox. Obviously, syndication would be great, but there's no information about that. So right now, it's running over the summer period. It's by the producers of The Apprentice and Survivor, so Mark Burnett, and he's produced some of the best reality shows ever. So who knows what the future holds? But right now, it's just for the US.
You've made an integration with Snapchat.
Yep.
Last December. Can you share some first results?
Yeah, so it's relatively new. We launched it with Snapchat a few months ago. The really interesting thing about Snapchat is that when we launched it wasn't actively promoted. But Snapchat has created this amazing habit by holding down the screen. Consumers get something, so that really created this organic behavior that's created. And we've seen millions of Shazams. I can't talk specifics in terms of numbers, but it's been incredibly exciting, and we've seen loads and loads of Shazams off the back of it. But it's just the start, and we hope to see what we can do more with Snapchat in the future.
You plan to integrate into some more apps?
Yeah. So I mean, there's the focus really has been obviously Samsung Smart TV, which we launched in South by Southwest. So that was a strategy for this year. Obviously Snapchat, which is the very, very big one, has been the focus this year. At the moment, no other plans. But those two are two very big and two very exciting ones.
Why do you think QR codes failed as a phenomenon and didn't become something massively used?
I think I think they're ahead of their time. I think we're talking about 5-6 years ago when smartphone penetration was very low. Also, back in sort of 2011, 2012, the app world, the app ecosystem, was incredibly small. Most people were still going through browser on their mobile. So the tech wasn't ready. The users hadn't made the life switch to their mobiles like they do today. We essentially live on this device. And so I think QR codes was ahead of its time. We've recently launched Shazam codes.
I wanted to ask, why are they better? Why?
I think for two main reasons. One, the smartphone, people want to use that as the device that connects everything. So that consumer behavior has been established. So that's very, very important. And the second one is no one had the app QR code reader on their phone. So we know that no one is going to download an app to engage with the brand. The reason why I say Shazam codes works is because we have a huge install base that knows what the Shazam logo is. They know that they can engage with it. So having that habit created from smartphones becoming such an integral part of our life, coupled with having a large install base like Shazam has, means that there is a scalable solution there for brands to take advantage of.
Is it free to create some Shazamable content?
The Shazam actually reads QR codes, but in terms of for Shazam code, right now it's been launched from an advertising point of view, so brands will pay to do it. It's not to say that won't change in the future, but at this stage the focus has been more on advertising.
And many people have already tried that feature?
Absolutely. So, we launched Visual Shazam. So, before Shazam codes, we launched Visual Shazamming, and we've worked with some of the biggest brands in the world to make their product Shazamable, like Coke bottles in the US, 600 million Coke bottles. So, we've rolled out Visual Shazamming. We rolled out recently Shazam codes. We also recently rolled out augmented reality as well. And so what we've really been doing is investing in our visual capability, both from educating our users about that function for there, also investing with brands to let them know about this technology to take advantage of. And we're seeing some huge campaigns already go live, and we've got some huge ones in the pipeline. And we've got some big ones coming in Russia soon as well, which I can't tell you, but you will see it very soon.
What about other platforms? You have the app for Apple Watch, for iMessage. What else are going to go further? Why not Facebook Messenger?
One of the things I talked about today is that we're always looking at ways to, if our users want to Shazam something and they want to do it through a new technology, we always want to make sure that we're there. And so as that happens, then we'll always consider something. You're right. You mentioned iMessage was we one of the very first apps to create a version for that, of just like the iWatch. So as these things come up, our product team really do look at it and say, does it make sense to do this? Is it a scalable opportunity? Do our users want to be able to do it? If we can answer those sort of things, and our exec team think it's a good idea, then we do it. At the moment, there's nothing I can talk about. We just did 2 rather large ones that we're seeing huge results from. So, look, I'm sure there'll be some more in the future.
You're going to VR. Will it be some next platform where Shazam will appear?
So our focus has been more on augmented reality versus virtual reality. And again, we just launched the very first 2 campaigns, actually one in the US, one in Australia, for brands using the visual Shazamia code to give the consumers an augmented reality experience. I'm sure we'll have some in Russia this year. I know we'll have some in Russia coming out in the next couple of months. But yeah, our focus has been on augmented reality versus virtual reality.
Can you remember the worst day for the company since you've joined it?
The fortunate situation that we don't have bad days is, when you see hyper growth, when you see investment, when you see your teams getting bigger, when you see, when I joined Shazam, I had a team of 1. And now my team is much bigger, and we're expanding to more markets. So the very fortunate thing about Shazam is that we all love what we do. I mean, I certainly love what I do. So I don't really have bad days. You can have challenging days, but certainly don't have bad days.
Okay.
Which is good. I've had bad days before, not at Shazam. I was at Yahoo for 6 years before
There were bad days for Yahoo.
Do you know? I actually know. You have to go further back to see bad days. I worked in finance long before that, and so I have bad memories of some days certainly working in finance. But luckily, in the space that I've been fortunate to work in, both at Yahoo and Shazam, I love what I do, and I've had jobs where I didn't love what I do. So you certainly know what it is when you have it, because I've been very fortunate.
Can you remember some wrong decision made by Shazam, some failed, maybe some project which was launched and failed? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things in this space is that you have to make decisions quickly, and I think it's a mentality where just because something doesn't work doesn't mean it's a failure, right? You have to try, you have to iterate, you have to improve, and that's the beauty of this space, is that you try something, it doesn't work, and you pivot, and you put everything down to a lesson. So again, I don't think we've had any failures. I think some things have done better than others, but everything's about learning, everything's about improving, and that's certainly what the app space is. With your device, apps are continually iterating, continually improving. And that's the space we live in. So I think if you compare it to, say, very traditional industries where when they launch something, it's 2 years of planning, and I think in the tech space, I think the mentality is very different, and it's about you try something that doesn't work. That's not a failure. You've learned something, and you're going to make it better next time. So I think it's a very mentality, big difference in this space versus a lot of other industries. So again, I don't think we've had any failures.
That's all. I think it was good talking to you.
Thank you.
It was Joshom Pатriджем from Shazam, me, Alexei Pисаревский from Mobio. Thank you. Subscribe to our channel. There will be more videos with top experts from the industry. Thank you.
Спасибо.